OpenAI was made to protect people from AI, but now it's building AI that could replace millions of jobs. That's the problem. A company that wanted AI to be safe is now racing to build it faster. It said AI should be open. Now it's more secret. It said no one company should control AI. But today, it's the one closest to doing it.
So what changed? One decision. The moment OpenAI stopped being just a mission and became a company built to chase scale, capital, and power. To understand why that mattered, you have to go back to the beginning. In late 2015, OpenAI was launched as a non-profit research lab. Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Greg Brockman, and other high-profile tech figures backed the project with a dramatic promise: $1 billion in pledged support. The message was simple: artificial general intelligence, or AGI, was too important to be left in the hands of one corporation. OpenAI would build it for the benefit of everyone. That idea sounded noble. It also sounded expensive. Training advanced AI models was already burning cash. Computing power was not cheap, top researchers were not cheap, and as the ambition grew, the original dream started to collide with a brutal business reality. By 2019, only about $130 million of the original $1 billion pledge had actually been collected. Because while OpenAI talked about openness, it was already learning a painful lesson. Ideals do not pay for world-changing infrastructure. But then, something unexpected happened. Instead of slowing down, OpenAI made a decision that would define its future. In 2019, it created a capped profit structure and launched a for-profit arm under the nonprofit. That may sound like a technical legal move. It was not. It was the turning point. It was the moment OpenAI admitted that if it wanted to compete at the highest level, it needed serious money. And serious money arrived fast. Microsoft invested $1 billion and became OpenAI's most important partner. That deal gave OpenAI cash, computing power, and distribution. It also gave Microsoft a front-row seat to the most important AI race in the world. Suddenly, OpenAI was not just a research lab anymore. It was a strategic weapon in a new tech war. At first, the shift looked brilliant. OpenAI released systems that impressed the industry. GPT-3 showed how powerful large language models could be. DALL-E pushed image generation into the mainstream. Even when OpenAI held back major releases like GPT-2 over safety concerns, that caution helped build its reputation. It looked like the rare AI company that was both ambitious and careful. But beneath the surface, a contradiction was getting sharper. The company still talked like a mission-driven nonprofit, but it now had the cost structure, investor expectations, and competitive pressure of a high-speed venture-backed business. Those two things were never going to sit comfortably together. Then, in late 2022, OpenAI made the move that changed not just the company, but the entire market. It launched ChatGPT. At first glance, ChatGPT looked like a simple chatbot. It wasn't. It was the moment everything changed. In reality, it was the iPhone moment for generative AI. Suddenly, ordinary people could feel the power of large language models for themselves. Students used it for essays, workers used it for emails, programmers used it for code, founders used it for strategy. Some people saw a tool, others saw a replacement. Within months, ChatGPT was exploding. By early 2023, it had drawn tens of millions of users, with analysts estimating 57 million unique visitors in December alone. It was one of the fastest consumer adoptions in tech history. And that's when the fear started. If AI could write, summarize, analyze, design, and code, what exactly was safe anymore? This is where it stops being a tech story and starts being a human story. That was the real shock. OpenAI did not just create a hot product, it made white-collar workers feel what factory workers had felt during earlier waves of automation. Writers felt it, designers felt it, analysts felt it. Even software engineers started to wonder if the future might come for them too. And that is why OpenAI became more than a startup. It became a cultural event. The market reaction was immediate. Google rushed to respond with Bard. Microsoft moved aggressively to put OpenAI models into Bing and later into products across its empire. Meta accelerated its own AI efforts. Anthropic emerged as a serious rival. Elon Musk, once one of OpenAI's founders, came back into the picture from the outside, now as an increasingly hostile critic and competitor. OpenAI had kicked off a gold rush, but gold rushes create chaos. And this is where the real risk begins. Once ChatGPT took off, OpenAI faced a choice: slow down and reinforce governance, safety, and trust, or move faster, raise more money, ship more products, and lock in market dominance before rivals caught up. It chose speed, over caution, over control. From a business perspective, that decision made sense. Revenues surged. OpenAI later said revenue grew from about $2 billion in annualized revenue in 2023 to $6 billion in 2024 and more than $20 billion in 2025. Compute capacity exploded alongside it. More compute meant better models. Better models meant more users. More users meant more money. But rapid growth has a hidden cost. It exposes every crack in a company's structure. In November 2023, those cracks exploded in public. OpenAI's nonprofit board suddenly fired Sam Altman, saying he had not been consistently candid with them. In plain English, the board was saying the most important person in the company could not be trusted. It was one of the most shocking corporate moments in modern tech. A company leading the most important AI race in the world had just detonated its own leadership in public. And then the backlash hit. Employees revolted. Investors panicked. Microsoft applied pressure. Greg Brockman resigned in solidarity. The whole company looked like it might fracture in real time. Days later, Altman was back. The board was reshaped. The coup failed. That episode revealed something deeper than office politics. OpenAI's governance model no longer matched the size of the company. It had been designed for a mission-driven lab. It was now trying to control a global power center sitting on one of the hottest technologies on Earth. The structure broke under the pressure. But then something even more damaging happened. Key safety researchers began leaving. Jan Leik, one of the most prominent figures working on alignment, said safety culture had taken a back seat to shiny products. Ilya Sutskever, the company's co-founder and chief scientist, also departed from the board and later left the company. Other former researchers publicly warned that OpenAI was making the kind of mistakes social media companies had made before: move fast, scale first, worry later. That criticism stung because it went right to the heart of the brand. OpenAI had built trust by claiming it was different, more thoughtful, more cautious, more responsible. Now insiders were saying the opposite, and the public pressure kept building. Authors and publishers sued over alleged copyright infringement. Privacy complaints hit Europe after ChatGPT produced false and defamatory claims about real people. Regulators began circling. Critics asked whether OpenAI had built a revolutionary product on data it did not fully own, with safety systems it did not fully control, and a governance structure it did not fully understand. None of that slowed the money. By mid-2025, Reuters reported OpenAI hit a $10 billion annualized revenue run rate. That same reporting noted the company lost around $5 billion in 2024. That's the strange math of modern AI. It's one of the fastest growing businesses in the world and still one of the hungriest. So OpenAI made another major decision. It kept restructuring. By late 2025, OpenAI moved toward a public benefit corporation structure, making it easier to raise even more capital and pushing the company further away from its original nonprofit identity. Reports tied the company to valuations around $300 billion and later roughly $500 billion through secondary share sales. Microsoft secured a massive long-term economic position. OpenAI signaled that an eventual public offering was the likely path. That's not the story of a non-profit lab guarding humanity from concentrated power. That's the story of a company becoming one of the largest private firms on Earth. And here's the twist: the business may still be in its early innings. OpenAI says more than 1 million business customers are now paying to use their tools, and it is said ChatGPT reached over 800 million weekly users. The direction is clear. OpenAI is no longer just a model maker, it's becoming infrastructure. The more businesses build on it, the harder it becomes to avoid. That's where the jobs question becomes real. When people hear that AI could replace millions of jobs, they often imagine factories or call centers. But OpenAI made the threat feel broader. It moved into writing, research, customer support, programming, design, tutoring, analysis, and planning. Not perfectly, not all at once, but enough to change behavior. Companies no longer ask whether AI will affect knowledge work. They ask how much of that work can be automated and how fast. Even Sam Altman has acknowledged there will be real job displacement from AI. That matters because it reframes OpenAI's story. It's not just a company that built a product people like. It's a company building intelligence as a service at global scale, inside a profit machine that now needs endless capital to stay ahead. So what was the one decision that changed everything? It was the choice to transform OpenAI from a mission-first nonprofit into a capital-hungry, product-driven company built to win the AI race. That decision unlocked everything: the Microsoft partnership, the ChatGPT launch, the revenue explosion, the talent wars, the leadership coup, the safety backlash, the lawsuits, the staggering valuation, the fear that your job might not be safe. Without that choice, OpenAI might have remained an admired lab. Because of that choice, it became something far bigger and far more dangerous to its rivals. The story of OpenAI is not a collapse story, not yet. It's a transformation story. A story about what happens when an organization built to prevent concentrated power becomes one of the most concentrated sources of power in the modern economy. And that's the lesson. Innovation alone doesn't change the world. Distribution changes it. Capital changes it. Timing changes it. OpenAI didn't win because it was the only company with smart researchers. It won because it found a way to turn research into a mass market product before everyone else understood what was happening. Now the rest of the world is trying to catch up. Governments are scrambling to regulate it. Competitors are racing to match it. Workers are trying to adapt to it. And OpenAI is still moving faster, still raising more money, and still pushing toward a future that looks less like a software company and more like a new layer of the global economy. That future may create enormous wealth. It may also erase old career paths faster than society can replace them. And that's what makes OpenAI such a powerful business story. It's not just about one company, it's about the cost of winning, the cost of speed, the cost of building intelligence into everyday work before the world is ready for it. OpenAI began as a promise to protect humanity from the dangers of artificial intelligence. Now it's forcing humanity to confront them in real time, not slowly, not safely, but at a speed no one fully understands. What business story should we explore next? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to The Money Whisperer for more untold business stories.